Lesson 9, Unit 1. Contract Management. Contract management deals with the process to manage the project contract with donors, partners, consultants, and vendors that supply the goods and services required by the project. A contract is a legally binding agreement between the parties to fulfill all the terms and conditions outlined in the agreement. A contract is enforceable only when all the parties to the contract can be demonstrated to have accepted its terms. In a development project, you will manage two types of contracts. The first one is the management of the grant or subgrants the project has received from the donor to fund the project, and or the subgrants the project has awarded to other groups. The second type deals with the management of procurement contracts that the project will award to consultants or companies for the delivery of specific goods or services needed by the project. Donor contracts or grants. These are the contracts the project has been awarded to fund the project activities. Most of these contracts are grants that come from donor institutions, local or international government funding agencies. Most of the grants are awarded via competitive bids in which the organization presented a proposal to a donor, who reviewed it, approved it, and awarded the grant to fund a specific project. Subcontracts or subgrants are the contracts the project has with other organizations for the delivery of specific elements of the project. These are also awarded through competitive bids or direct invitation. In this case, the organization is channeling funds from the donor to a third party. For some organizations, it's not uncommon to have one or more partner organizations working in the project. Procurement contracts are for the purchases of goods and services needed by the project. While most of the contracts will be managed by the administrative support, you need to be aware of the regulations and local laws that govern this type of commercial contracts. You also need to be aware of the donors and regulations that may limit how and what type of purchases can be made with donors' funds. Contract management will help you make rational and efficient use of the resources provided by the donor. A good approach to contract management is to focus on complying with the contractual, regulatory, and statutory provisions of the grant or contract. This will ensure your project avoids problems with financial losses caused by poor contract management. The contract management process consists of 4 steps: plan, do, check, and adapt the process. The process requires a series of inputs and will produce specific outputs. Contract management consists of 4 process areas. Plan. Contract planning involves determining the key contract terms and conditions, identifying any risks. The plan includes the roles and responsibilities in the project for contract management. Do. Contract administration includes activities involving soliciting, awarding, reporting, and administering the contract, including the process for closing or terminating a contract and preparation for donor auditing. Check. This is contract compliance. Involves the monitoring and evaluation of the contract for compliance with clauses and requests for changes. And adapt. These are contract modifications, which include the actions to improve the contract with changes and amendments to the contract clauses or agreements. Inputs for the project contract management include the following documents or sources of information: the project proposal and examples of a procurement plan, the contract or agreement between the organization and the donor, which include the restrictions imposed by the donor, local laws regarding procurement and contracting for goods and services, and historical information from similar projects and their lessons learned, expert advice from subject matter experts on contract laws. The project team will use the above information to develop 3 important documents for the project: the contract management plan, which describes the steps to take requests for any changes, the people who can authorize the changes, and the process to incorporate the changes. The authorizes changes to the contracts, and the project procurement plan, a document that identifies all the purchases of goods and services needed by the project, including the dates and budget limits for each purchase.